Good afternoon and welcome to State Newsfile. I'm Colton Pankey. Spencer Milkey will have a look at all the highlights later in the show. What can we expect, Spencer?
Well, Connor Bedard was facing our Hitman earlier, as well as we'll take a look at some Trojans.
Awesome, looking forward to seeing it. Dulce Abella is out today to give us a look at our weather. Looks like it has turned into a much nicer day out there. Hey, Dulce?
Well, Colton, it's actually not that bad today compared to the ones we had last week. But it's still pretty chilly outside, so I'm kind of jealous about you guys being in the warm studio, you know? We're also pretty close to last year's high of -8 degrees. But I kind of want to go back to 1906, where we set the record high temperature of 16.1 degrees. But you know what? I'm just kind of relieved that we're not in 1893, where it was like -42.2 degrees. Back to you, Colton.
Thanks, Dulce. Now, here's a look at today's top stories. A Calgary man is dead following a fire that broke out in the southeast region of the city this morning. Firefighters and EMS were called to the 200 block of Pennsville Close Southeast for reports of a fire around 8 a.m. When they arrived on scene, they discovered that a man was inside the building. The man was taken to Foothills Medical Center, where he later died. A cause for the fire has yet to be determined. Calgary police were notified early Thursday morning about a collision between a C train and a pedestrian at the Franklin LRT station. Police say a man was struck by the C train at 4:23 a.m. and suffered non-life-threatening injuries, but life-altering injuries. As a result of the collision, the westbound lane of Memorial Drive was shut down for a number of hours. Police have not confirmed the age of the man involved in the collision. In yet another C-train incident, Calgary police are investigating a stabbing that took place at the Center Street station late last night. Police say a fight broke out between two men at the station and left one of them with serious stab wounds. The victim was transported to the hospital in life-threatening condition, but has since been upgraded to critical. Investigators have since tracked down and arrested the suspect in question. Going along the Bow River in Calgary is always an enjoyable time for many in the city. But in a walking community like Bridgeland, it can also be a bit scary, especially with all the traffic. Keith Driver joins us from Bridgeland. Keith, there seems to be a problem with the sign there.
Yes, there is, Colton. I'm currently here in Bridgeland, which is now being dubbed as Bridge Law. The sign has taken a few beatings before. Calgary is known for mixed weather patterns, and with that comes not the greatest driving conditions. Along Memorial Drive West, coming into the Bridgeland community, pedestrians don't always feel safe, especially when they are walking by the Bridgeland sign.
So they'll walk past that and be like, oh no, how much did I miss that by? That could have been me. I could have gotten in an accident today.
The Bridgeland sign was first put up as a pilot in 2019 as a marker for the community. In April of 2020, the sign's D was taken out by a driver going too fast. At first, it was a running joke, but with the sign's N missing, residents are growing concerned.
I have children, we live in the neighborhood. I don't personally feel comfortable sometimes letting them walk to school, so especially along First, they've done a better job of keeping the crosswalks better marked now, adding a few crossing lights.
Area Councillor Jean-Carlo Corra is concerned about the ongoing problems with the sign, but says it's been a rallying point for the community.
We're having conversations about how we move forward. I'm very interested to hear what people have to say. What I'm getting is that people want the sign, and they want the sign to be able to withstand time and vehicle strikes.
Colton, the city council is looking at 3 different options to see what will be the future of this sign.
Be safe on your way back to studio, Keith. Remember to check the road conditions before you leave and obey the speed limits to make sure you get to your destination safe. Calgary police are searching for a suspect who they say robbed a Southeast casino. Investigators say a man walked into the Deerfoot Inn and Casino late Tuesday evening and told employees he was armed. Immediately afterward, the suspect demanded cash before fleeing the scene with an undisclosed amount of money. Police do not yet have a description of the suspect, but say the investigation is still ongoing. It sounds a bit scary just to say out loud, conjuring up something out of a sci-fi movie, but AI is cutting edge these days, especially here at SAIT. As Katie Rebegliotti reports, that has many students wondering what their futures are going to look like.
Just to get it started. And there you go.
It's just as fast as that to develop something using artificial intelligence. AI goes all the way back to the 1950s but did not bloom till recent years. Now it's an industry worth close to $93 billion. Many companies are using it as a tool to speed up the process of things or to even cut down unemployment. With AI in the picture, many jobs are at risk because AI can almost learn any skill a human can.
Well, with the radio thing, I really want to be a writer, and with this ChatGPT stuff, obviously you can do whatever you want with it. You can be like, give me a 5-minute Seinfeld script. It'll crank it out.
AI works by replicating how the human brain works. And by using in and outputs of various numbers, it goes through test cases like training data to get the right results. The use of AI doesn't just stop at the workplace. Teachers are concerned about the use of AI because students are using it to speed up the process of their homework, or even let AI write the whole thing themselves. With AI in the picture, people are starting to use the easy route, which can result in losing certain skills. AI is expected to replace about 86 million jobs worldwide by 2025. This is going to be a make or break situation for most people, but for software developers, it could be a game changer.
I think it will be a tool to help developers program faster and with more efficiency.
Or someday, AI might just replace me. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Katie Rebagliati.
SAIT was just named one of the province's top employers. Many employees at the school agree with this, but also believe more can be done. Alex McLeod has more on the story.
But it doesn't mean we don't have room for improvement.
SAIT doesn't stick to tradition for being such an old school. The school embraces change and is always looking to improve the campus for staff and students alike. Recently, the school was awarded as one of the top employers in Alberta. 4 other post-secondary schools made the list alongside SAIT. They were not ranked numerically, but alphabetically. With their most recent employment award, the school is looking at what can be done better.
There have been elevators down or other accessibility points down. That does not serve our students or employees that have accessibility issues. We're not supporting them very well in those cases.
Despite ongoing accessibility issues, SAIT says it is easy to attract good talent because the lifestyle provided here is one that many enjoy.
Looking around the post-secondary community more than anywhere else I had seen, they were really dedicated to their employees, and it made it a really attractive place for me to move to.
While the benefits seem good to full-time employees, part-timers don't get the same deal.
We do have to recognize that they don't have access to any of the benefits or any of the flexible time and leave that SAIT mentions and promotes as a good workplace.
We want them to feel part of the community, we want them to feel like they are part of SAIT and not just, sort of disposable, people that are only here for short periods of time.
SAIT says it's currently looking into what it can do to better support part-time employees, whether it's benefits or community programs. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Alex McLeod.
It's a very diverse campus here at SAIT. People come from all over the world to take courses here. They also come from many Indigenous communities across Canada, but there's not as many of those students as SAIT would like. As part of the Truth and Reconciliation 94 calls to action, post-secondary institutions have either explored or begun offering education geared towards Indigenous people. SAIT is currently undertaking consultations with elders to begin a process of adding this education to curriculum on campus and also possibly delivering that curriculum right in the Indigenous communities.
So this is the early stage of the program. We are meeting with the elders to understand better what are the challenges facing adult and student learners. On the basis of that understanding and that guidance, we are developing a strategy around.
Some of the outcomes of the consultations could include Indigenous-specific education for programs and microcredits. That might allow future students to get some of their education at home, and they might find it easier to adjust later to being on campus. The Alberta government announced a new program today to help Albertans access the healthcare they need. The idea is to basically group the system through a shared response team. But, as Irene Tagama reports, NDP leader Rachel Notley says more needs to be done.
I would love a full-time position.
Tyler Cross is a paramedic student here at SAIT. He is hoping these new changes to the health system will mean full-time work for him.
The security benefits and a full-time job is very nice. working like a full-time position with AHS.
The changes to the health system involve creating an 811 shared response team. That team will transfer non-urgent calls directly to an 811 nurse without having the need for the patient to wait. The nurse will identify the care the patient needs.
This change frees up paramedics to focus on life-threatening and urgent calls.
The New Democrats say more needs to be done to better the healthcare system. In a conference yesterday, the NDP released a report that shows Calgary was averaging 400 red alerts each month.
So we must commit to getting paramedics off shift on time and home to their families. We must stop treating them as disposable workers on 89-day temporary contracts.
NDP leader Rachel Notley suggests taking good care of the paramedics through permanent contracts instead of temporary contracts in the field. But not all paramedics want full-time work.
I would rather a part-time position right after, just because the workload that you get into right away is quite heavy. There's not a lot of breaks.
Whether it's adding more staff or reducing the wait times through a shared response line, getting the care every Albertan needs is all that matters.
Alberta's former Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dina Hinshaw, has taken a new job with BC's Public Health Leadership Team. Hinshaw served as Alberta's Chief Medical Officer of Health for more than 3 years and played a major part in the decisions the province made during the COVID-19 pandemic. She was removed from the position shortly after Premier Daniel Smith replaced Jason Kenney in October. Smith has been on record in the past criticizing several decisions made by the province during the pandemic. Going to school can be stressful, and that can have a definite impact on your mental health. Mental health is certainly gaining more recognition, but that doesn't make the struggle any less real. Mental health problems impact 1 in 5 Canadians. It is a major issue, whether it be you personally struggling or someone you know. Everyone has been affected by mental health in some way. Seeing a therapist can really help. For most people, it's just talking about it, no matter who you are talking to.
Or even someone you're not. I know that sometimes I meet new people and we'll just start talking, and then you just kind of like start talking about stuff, and you find that more people deal with things than you realize, and it's pretty easy to find people who understand or can at least empathize with you.
To be done, the awareness around mental health is continuing to grow. The general sentiment is that it is okay not to be okay. If you are going through something, there are many who are willing to help. Those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break, but first, Dulce Abella has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
The YYC Hot Chocolate Festival is back and sweeter than ever. Over 175 cafes are filling cups to support the sweet cause, helping to eliminate food insecurity within the city. And speaking of something sweet, the month-long singles event at 17th Ave will help you find love and put an end to endless scrolling and swiping. Cineplex Family Favorite are a great way to enjoy a classic family movie for a low price every Saturday morning. Tickets go on sale the Friday before the showing. Throughout the month, we'll be spreading love, compassion, and thoughtfulness. Join Toys R Us in store for sweet story times, pot of kindness crafts, take-home kindness bingo sheets, and more. The Loose Moose Theater Company creates a truly magical experience for kids ages 4 to 10, as well as one that is enjoyable and entertaining for parents. Shows play Saturdays at 1 p.m. and Sundays at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. The Central Library is hosting a Puppet Pop-Up. The workshops actively encourage everyone in the family, young and old, to create art and drama together.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm so happy to be back here in this studio because it's pretty cold outside. But you know what? Let's take a look at what's happening across the country. So for BC, there's actually a locally driven storm pattern found from the north over the northeastern of the Pacific region. Now, because of this, there is actually going to be some rain events for the next couple of days, but it will be pretty cyclical. So Vancouverites might not see any dry land up until February 10. Now, moving on to Winnipeg, Winnipeg actually received a cold warning this morning, and just like Winnipeg, Toronto also actually got issued an extreme cold weather warning because a vortex, which is like a large area of low pressure and cold air, actually is descending over Ontario, which rapidly decreased its temperature. Now let's take a look at where we all want to be. Palm Springs is pretty clear today and 22 degrees. Barbados and Cancun are both going to be cloudy. 27 degrees in Honolulu makes it the ideal day to go surfing. If you want to visit Disney World and meet Mickey Mouse, Orlando is sizzling hot at 28 degrees, and Sin City is the coolest at 16 degrees. Now for Calgary today, we're actually at -2 at the moment, and cloudy condition will actually continue throughout the day with the wind coming from the south at 23 km/h, and for the next couple of days will be pretty sunny. Now let's take a look at our province. Now in Alberta, don't be actually fooled by all of these temperatures, and as you can see, it's pretty cloudy. Since for the northern part where there's like the Fort McMurray, Fort Chipewyan, Lloydminster, I would say that Albertans over there might actually want to stay home tonight and still keep warm, because there's actually a possibility that you guys could actually reach at -50 tonight or this evening. So I would say to just bundle up if you're going outside, because it's not going to be fun for those weather. Now for the rest of the country, like I said, it's pretty cloudy with Banff with the only one, which is the sun out there. Now let's take out the 5-day forecast. Now for our Calgary 5-day forecast, tonight is actually going to be pretty cloudy, but for the next couple of days, it's actually going to be pretty sunny. So I would suggest for you guys to go out with your friends and have some fun. Now let's take a look at the sports after the break.
Did you know that having your pet neutered can increase their lifespan? While pets that are not neutered are at a high risk of infection and disease. When adopting a pet, the Rescue Friends Animal Foundation pets available for adoptions are already neutered. Adopt your own neutered pet at Rescued Friends.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is broadcast news. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Spencer Mielke joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. What can we expect, Spencer?
Well, Connor Bedard has looked like an absolute stud out there, and he took on the Calgary Hitmen, but we're also going to take a big ol' look at the Trojans.
Awesome, looking forward to it.
The Trojans are slammed busy this upcoming weekend with 6 games on the slate. The men's basketball team is 8-7 on the season as they pulled off a close win last weekend against Red Deer Polytechnic. Meanwhile, the women's basketball team is sitting at 8-7 as well, but they are currently on a 4-game losing streak after losing back-to-back games against Olds College and Red Deer Polytechnic. Later tonight, the Trojans women's hockey team will face off against Olds College at 7. The women are fighting to stop their losing skid as they have dropped their last 7 games. On Friday, we have the other 2 women's teams facing off against Briarcrest. The women's volleyball is sitting at 8-7 after splitting games against Red Deer last weekend. Also on Friday, the men have some tough battles against Briarcrest and Concordia. The men's hockey are at 11-7 after 2 blowout games against Nate with 1 win and 1 loss. The men's volleyball team has been struggling, losing their last 8 after starting the season 4-3. Hopefully our Trojans will come out on top. the Saddle Dome was completely sold out as young Regina Pats phenom Connor Bedard was in town. In the first period, a point shot gets deflected by Blake Heward, flying into the back of the net, opening the scoring. It didn't take Connor Bedard long to get onto the score sheet as he absolutely roofs a tough angle shot, tying the game at 1 apiece. Things got a bit chippy as the Hitmen whack away at Pats goalie Drew Sim, and it looks like he saves it, but after video review, the goal counts for the Hitmen. Picking it up in the third, a shot is ripped past Peters, tying the game at 4 apiece. In the dying seconds, Braxton Whitehead jams at the puck with a sprawling Hitman defenseman doing all he can to keep the puck out of the net. After another video review, the game was headed to a shootout. Connor Bedard was zooming out there as he flips one past Peters, putting the pressure on the Hitman captain, Riley Fiddler Schultz, who got denied. The Pats take this one 6-5 as Bedard iced the game with that shootout winner. Sean Shigurl did all he could to get the W, but to no avail. Bedard extended his goal total on the season to 44 and is causing arenas all across Western Canada to fill up. The Hitmen will play against the Oil Kings Saturday. The last game before the All-Star break took place yesterday as the bitter rivalry between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs was underway. In the first period, David Pasternak was robbed by Ilya Samsonov, keeping the game at 0s. Picking up in the second, Charlie Coyle feeds former Flame Derek Forbert, who buries the short-handed goal. The Leafs would answer quickly as Mitch Marner slips one past Ullmark on another power play. Up 2-1 in the third, AJ Greer breaks free from David Kampf, taking a stick with him before sniping one in the top corner. Leaf enforcer Wayne Simmons was not too happy with Greer as he pummels him in a decisive fight, throwing some wild hands on the seemingly defenseless Greer. With 10 minutes left in the game, Pavel Zacha went crazy, breaking TJ Brody's ankles and roofing it. Then he gets another one from a sick feed from David Krejci, icing the game. The Bruins finished the night 5-2, shutting down the Leafs and continuing their insane surge of a season, improving to 39, 7, and 5 on the season. The Maple Leafs really missed Austin Matthews in this one as they couldn't get enough of that scoring touch. Ullmark and Pasternak of the Bruins and Mitch Marner of the Leafs will be flying to Florida for the All-Star game this weekend. The NHL All-Star weekend is upon us with Nazem Kadri representing the Flames. Throughout the weekend in sunny Florida, the playoffs will show off their skills during the skills competition and fight for divisional prowess in the All-Star game. Injury replacements have been announced, including Rasmus Dahlin jumping in instead of Tage Thompson for the Buffalo Sabres. Seattle is currently being left out as Matty Benier sustained an injury and is being replaced by Vegas Golden Knight Chandler Stevenson. Bo Horvat will also be representing Vancouver, even though he was traded to New York earlier this week. The Toronto Raptors fought hard against the surprise of the year Utah Jazz last night. In the second frame, Gary Trent Jr. pokes the ball free from Lauri Markkanen, leading to the slam on the other end. Walker Kessler was a monster of the night, denying Raptors vet Thad Young. Kessler wasn't done there as he finished the alley-oop right over two Raptors players. Fred VanVleet was trying to stop the run away, feeding a dish to Chris Boucher in the corner, draining the three. VanVleet was hot as he also drained his own three that was heavily contested from Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson would get the last laugh as he finished the dagger right in VanVleet's face. The Jazz take this one 131-128. VanVleet did all he could with 34-point triple-double, but Kessler dominated the boards with 7 offensive rebounds alongside Markkanen's 28 points. The Raptors will play against the Rockets tomorrow night. Only 2 teams remain as the fight for the Super Bowl is only a week away. The Philadelphia Eagles will play the Kansas City Chiefs in a historic Super Bowl. It will mark the first time that both teams will field a black starting quarterback, with Jalen Hurts looking to shut down Patrick Mahomes from getting his second ring. The halftime show will also be performed by Rihanna, setting the stage for an intense battle. Coin flip will be set for 4:30 Sunday the 12th. And that's a look at sports.
Yeah, I mean, Lots of good highlights there. I can't wait. Like Connor Bedard, what a player. I can't wait to see him once he gets to the NHL.
Yeah, I'm very curious of who's going to end up getting that first overall pick to take him.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing a smaller market, maybe the Coyotes or the Blue Jackets, but we'll have to see what happens.
Absolutely.
After the break, we will see a story about what Calgarians are doing to remain active.
What do you think of when you hear the word home? A place to rest, a place to play, a place for friends and family to gather. There are people in the city who unfortunately don't have that. They only have a house. WINS wants to change that. Donate household items to the House to Home program and help make a house a home again. It's only when you have homes that you have a community.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
It's the new year, and people are striving to get active to conquer those resolutions. Tyler Burkhardt takes a look on what and how the people of Calgary are doing to stay active.
Participation in regular physical activity can provide strong health benefits to people. But how do they balance these activities with their everyday lives?
Honestly, it's really easy. It's just, you gotta make the big commitment for it, but it's worth all of it. When I first started working out, I was working out for recovery, so that felt like a chore. But now that I work out just for the fun of it and I'm doing stuff that I couldn't do before, now it just feels fun to do. Honestly, you just gotta start. I mean, it's gonna be hard at the beginning, but it all pays off in the end.
Just make an effort, whether it's like once or twice a week, but try to pick a time that you can during the week and go every week at that same time, and it'll eventually become a habit and you'll want to do it more often.
By staying committed and making time for physical activity, our lifelong physical and mental health is reflected in that time we put in.
Heart, cardiovascular, muscular, speed work, high intensity. Yeah. Well, I think it's really important to be physically and mentally active. So it's a big part of just being healthy.
Whether it's going to the gym, picking up a sport, or even going for a walk on a nice day, setting aside some time in your week to get active is a perfect way to maintain our physical and mental health. For St. Newsfile, I'm Tyler Burkhardt.
Yeah, you know, kind of with everything reopened now post-pandemic, like there's so many ways, as you've seen there, to stay active. Like, what do you guys like to do throughout Calgary kind of to stay active?
Absolutely. I am in a hockey league, so I play hockey, try to keep active as much as I can.
Yeah.
Try to maybe stay outdoors a little bit because I know it's not necessarily too nice, but I hear it is warming up.
Yeah, it is pretty warming up for the next couple of days. It's actually, tonight it's going to be pretty cloudy and also tomorrow, but for the weekend it's actually pretty sunny, so I'm pretty sure a lot of the people could do some activity outside, like, you know, go for a run, bike around, cycle for basketball. I don't know, but a lot of things will actually be possible to be done on this weekend. But I don't know, what about you, Colin? What do you do?
Well, I know for myself, like just speaking of this weekend, I'm in a hockey tournament that's all on an outdoor arena in Mahogany. So game tomorrow night and then potentially up to 6 on Saturday, depending how we do. So Sunday could be a little rough, but looking forward to that. What about you guys? Any weekend plans?
Well, I usually have a dance training on Saturday evening, but aside from that, I'm just probably working or be with my friends.
Yeah, Spencer?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely studying. Gotta get my education going.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else going on this weekend, but looking forward to seeing kind of how my hockey goes and how you guys do. And that's all for today's St. Newsfile. We'll see you next time.